Basketball. What's up, man? What's up, home slice? Yeah, there we go. There we go. She punched Lou in the face, though. Not, like, literally. And it wasn't, like, an actual fucking, like, it's a punch? Like, what the fuck? No. That's not exactly how it went. When we talked to that, whatever. He was just messing with me and shit, and I was just, like, being touched, which I don't like, especially when I'm trying, like, kind of hit the hay or whatever. And I was like, bruh, no. I kind of, like, stop it, and did that. Just have my arm go out, and, yeah, I got him in the face, but whatever. Oh, come on. It's not the way Logan made it sound. Well, whatever. Like I said, we already talked about it. It's not a big deal. It's actually like a fat kickback last night. That was pretty chill. Pretty dope. It's helping to manage that a little bit because there was a lot of people. A lot more than even I thought. I thought it was going to be like 4 people, ended up being like 8 people there or some shit. Even one of my old coworkers that I used to work with was up there, hanging out. So I was like, oh shit, that's cool. So we caught up, chat for a bit and stuff, and we're hanging, all that, so. What's up, dude? What's up? I was going to share this out, but I think we're okay. I think, Rim's doing fine. Wish I had a lighter, though. I just have this just these matches. Oh, well. Oh, you drinking moonshine? No. Oh, God. Honestly, that just sounds terrible right now. It's leftovers from that kickback I was actually just talking about. It's just a bunch of fucking, like, Trulies that were, like, cracked, but not really drank. So I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to put it in a jar. It's like a mix of, like, cherry and cranberry. I know that much. I'm just kind of like, it works. It's fine, so. And plus, there's at least, like, this left over, too. And I was like, fuck it, I'll grab that. Where from? The PNW. Haven't seen him, man. I noticed you haven't hanging out the house either. Well, I've been there off, kind of off and on, but, I mean, just chilling. Also trying to, like, especially if this week, unsuccessfully trying, like, get other shit dealt with. But at least, I'm getting other things done, so it's not like, whatever. Not backyard, so, okay. Play some music. I already am. It's a playlist I already have set. Like, that ain't changing. Whatever's playing is what's gonna play. If you had one mitzvah rule, what would it be? Release the fucking files. Basically, I guess. I don't know. That's the first thing that came up in my head. So. What up for Arizona? What's up, Arizona? How do you survive in the summers out there, dude? I went to Phoenix once. Like, I don't know, maybe like 10 years ago or some shit for like, visiting grandparents during Christmas. And I was just like, even that, I was just like, what the fuck? It's hot. It's like, Jesus. I think like the hottest day when I was there for like what? Like maybe 5 days was dead ass, like straight like 78 or something. I was just like, what the fuck? This is like low temp summer weather or like high temp spring weather out here. It's just like, bruh, what the fuck? It's cooler at West Gun, Arizona. Well, I'm sure it is. I mean, it was Phoenix after all. It's not exactly really a well-placed city. And even like flying into that city, like the sprawl is insane. And I could have swore like there was just like literally like a couple miles of just straight baseball fields too at one point. I was like, what the fuck's with all these baseball fields? Then I found out apparently I think it's like a lot of the MLB teams apparently train at Phoenix, so that's why. Like on their off seasons, they go over there to train and shit. Which, okay. I mean, I don't know why they just wouldn't do that in their own home places, but that's what apparently I've heard. Like a lot of different like lower level like baseball games happen and shit out there. Like why, I don't know. I don't know why Phoenix specifically. It's just one thing I've noticed when I was flying in there, and I still distinctly remember it. I had briefly stayed in Arizona before I went to Texas. Oh, Texas. I don't know if that's any better. I don't think that's any better there, bro. Texas is just, I mean, weather-wise, I guess is, I've been in Texas during straight-up summers, and, like, cause I got family out there, and, it's, I don't know. I don't like it, really. I can't hang with that. There's a reason why my mom moved up here in the 90s, because she was getting away from that fucking Texas heat. You want to think it's a non-MLB? Well, no shit, I'm not. I wasn't saying okay, whatever. Ever seen that episode of SpongeBob? Yeah. Not much choice, I was born there. I mean, like, ultimately there always is kind of a choice with it and shit, but yeah, if you got your roots, you got your roots. What thoughts on the Bill of Rights? It needs to be expanded upon. It's good, but it something that I've noticed that doesn't exactly equate exactly to the needs of the modern times. So I'm just like, it should be expanded on that type of thing. Well, that guy's getting a timeout. Who managed to terminate the Constitution? Says who? What? Just because he got elected? And also, that's just kind of ridiculous. Like the whole point of that process is also to abide by that said Constitution too. Like, you would basically just be overriding the rule of law that we have established in this fucking country just because it's mandated, question mark. Sure. Cool. Sure, bud. I give plenty of examples. Lay it on me then. I'm curious on like which example here. If there is any. Are you ready to blue team? Neither team. Fuck them both. I don't attribute myself to any team. Rebel fighters rule. They rule, man. Oh, here I do. Let's just make sure. There we go. That should help. That should help a bit. It's better to be nothing to Democratic. I'd include a Republican in that too. But yeah, at this rate, it definitely needs to. It's threatening 22nd. Oh, so you're talking about how he's attacking, the Constitution. And that's a direct violation, of the laws that we have set. And that's also at least why there are different courts that are, striking down various different orders of his. Not that he fucking listens to a lot of that shit or gives a fuck. Because, yeah, he just ignores the orders, bypasses Congress. Like, yeah. But is that supposed to be a good thing? Because I'm a little confused. Like, I'm not too sure if you're advocating that, like, it's a good thing or not. Because it's definitely sure shit ain't. Even though a lot of MAGA chuds would say otherwise. Even though, like, a lot of them, ostensibly are all about, like, free speech, bro, free speech, and I love my guns, brother. But now even he's kind of, like, pretty critical of the Second Amendment. He's even said, yeah, you don't really need guns, folks. You don't need them. It's great, apparently. If I'm not, I have TDS. Exactly. Which, arguably, at this rate, being MAGA is more of, like, a Trump derangement syndrome, than actual people that hate him. Or dislike his policies or what he does. Because at this point, you have to be deranged enough at this point, to support him. So. Show your hair, bro. It's right here. Is he's working to put Yes Men on side. He's been doing that since even his first administration. There's a reason why, like, a lot of his first administration and his first term was literally just people fucking get flip-flopped constantly all the time, with different people. Like, I can't even remember all the people that, were initially in his administration. Like, I remember there was, like, that one fucking weird Christian guy that was, like, attorney general at one point. That was, like, a weird, like, old demon dude or some shit. I don't even remember what his name is. And then they replaced him with somebody else eventually down the line. And then there was, like, the press secretary in his first term who he flip-flopped, like, there was, like, what was his name? Like, Sean Pence, I think, or some shit? Like, no, not. It was like something. It was like Sean Spicer. Sean Spicer. That's his name. He used to also be the fucking White House Easter Bunny, too. It's, like, proven that he used to do that and loved it. He loved doing that. So, Spicer's also kind of a furry. Wow, I had to really hunt to find that fucking name. What is he doing anyway? Like, after, like, being the press secretary for, like, 5 seconds, he just became irrelevant. Like, and now he's just not around anymore. I guess that's not a bad thing, but it's just, like, because he is a Republican piece of shit, but still, it's, like, he hasn't been around in a fat minute. I think he has, like, a podcast now or some shit. Last time I heard, I think he was or something. But I don't know. I really don't remember. Trump fired him. Well, I know that. Like I said, that was like way back in his first term. Now he just has like that, like, what's her fucking name? Bondi? I don't know if it actually is Bondi. It might be somebody different, but I really don't remember. I know Pam Bondi's a fucking I can't keep track, honestly. I honestly can't keep track with what, like, exactly their positions are. They're all just a bunch of sacks of shit, so I don't know. Whatever. I mean, what really matters is, realistically, is Peter Thiel's, what's his fucking name? Wow, now I'm blanking on his fucking name. It's Peter Thiel. What's that other fucking crazy bald demon fuck? Why am I blanking on it right now? It's that fucker, and then it's, Attorney General Bondi, and there's, like, one other person outside of Trump that, is kind of worthy at least of acknowledging in the sense that they're kind of the real problem. Stephen Miller, yeah, Stephen Miller. There's so many you have to be, yeah, it was Stephen Miller. But no, like there is a lot of them. But if you want to like narrow it down to like the major players, it's those three, and then there's like one other guy. And no, it's not fucking Vance. Like he's fucking relevant. Um, I think it's Patel, Cash Patel, that fucker. Who also he like, what the fuck is he even there for, dog? Like he's literally just a weird like coked out party hound. That's all he's there for, basically. Like just straight up. Like, you see him in the fucking, like, hockey gold fucking ceremony or whatever after the US won, which sucked. Boo. It's just like, dog, like, what are you doing? Why are you there? There's no reason for you to be there, you fucking freak. Like, what the hell, dude? It just makes me wonder, like, what weird, like, behind the scenes, like, bullshit is going on. And frankly, I'm kind of wondering how many of those motherfuckers are coked up on the field. Because now I'm wondering that. You got that coke-headed out, like, freak ball that is Patel. You don't think, any of them are doing that? And also, didn't, like, the goalie get the Medal of Freedom or some shit now just for, what, goaltending? It's such absurd, retarded pomp and circumstance that's just fucking honestly unfathomable to me. I'm just like, bro, what the fuck? Files for threats to maximize campaign donations. Anyway, possibly. I mean, that's another reason why we're kind of, accelerating into Iran and also into all these other random distractions that are ostensibly trying to keep people deflected away from the files, which obviously ain't working. He's a goof. Well, that's kind of an obvious one. It's just one of those things where it's just like, he's such a fucking goofy, coked out freak that there's no reason. Like, I honestly, in a weird way, it'd make more sense if he was like a press secretary. Like, that ass. Like, why he's in the FBI, I'll never fucking know. That's just absurd. So many such changes to the point our independent organizations are based. Well, I mean, it's like that, but I mean, everything is gonna be like so biased now at this rate when it comes to this type of shit, where it's hard to really like figure out what is when it's embedded into like this system of power, like what is actually being earnest or not. Because there's a lot of people that are independent, but they just fucking aren't. People like Nazi freakball Tyler Oliveira, for example, or like Nick Shirley. Or like Cat Ibby and people like that. What kills me the most is that these are the same supporters that would adamantly argue you can't trust the government. I want to blind believe anything these guys say. Is that interesting? I grew up with a lot of these conservative and libertarian types telling me never trust the government, don't never be on your side and blah, 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 blah. But as soon as it's like convenient, suddenly they're lapdogs for it. While at the same time saying still don't trust Gib, while lapdogging it up and licking its dick. So which is it? Like, do you fucking, bootlick it, or do you fucking, be critical of it? Take your side, because you can't do both. Because I can arguably, support like a politician and still critique them because, they need to be checked. And when there are things where I think they ain't doing right, even though I can list off things that they might be doing good, then it's just basically like, yeah, I'm still going to say fuck you for not doing that shit, and you should be, doing the right thing. But hey, you're still doing good stuff, with this list of shit. Keep doing that stuff because, like that's preferable. That's in the better interests, So I can at least be nuanced with it, but these right wingers never are. They never are about it. The fringe left's anti-vax movement. I mean, I don't really know if the anti-vax movement was really a left or right thing. Even before COVID, like, I've met people who are leftists and were right-wingers that were pretty critical of vaccines and shit like that. And honestly, some of the more hardcore anti-vaxxers were religious nuts. And usually, more often than not, they tend to be right-wing. But There definitely are people on the left that are too, because they're like herbal remedies and other bullshit. They're around too. And it's like, it's one of those things where I don't really know if that's just strictly a left/right issue on that one. If the left does something wrong, I'll call it out. There's plenty of things that I think, various different leftists, well, not really politicians, but at least like, whether they're like commentators or, influence some way. Like there's a lot of times where I'm like, no, what you said was fucking stupid. And, obviously I can't like directly talk to them, but I'll at least, maybe in a comment or here, explain why I think that might be dumb. Or I mean, actually, here's a really good example of a leftist that I think is a fucking idiot and frankly a little unhinged is Bad Empanada. Like, he can be correct on some various issues, and arguably, I think, his broader, like, critiques about Israel, shit like that, are actually pretty good. But when it comes to, like, broader, like, critiques of, like, imperialism or the U.S., like, he has a really fucking unhinged, like, let them all burn kind of weird idea. Like, a very nihilistic perspective of just, like, fuck, America, including the American left, because they've just been so brainwashed or some shit. I don't know. Like, he has a very unhinged idea about like leftism broadly, especially American leftists and just Americans in general. And it's just like, dude, what the fuck? I mean, so much to the point where like he'll even look at like leftists who are veterans, whether they're American or not, and be like, no, fuck you too. Like, you served in the imperialist regime, so yeah, no, you're scum in my eyes. Fuck you. It's like, what the fuck? It's like, who the fuck are you, you crazy, you fucking weird lunatic? Like, what the fuck? Dude's kind of, like I said, pretty crazy. It stretches way too much. Yeah, like, and also, there are definitely leftists that just go a little too much, and it's not really a big thing anymore, arguably, but, like, a lot of the, like, hyper woke lefties, that would be like, you need to check your pelvic, excuse me, shit like that, they were kind of constantly annoying. Like, I'm still like, fuck them a little bit, but they're not really a thing that much anymore. I'll still find them occasionally here and there, but we're kind of in a different era of like woke, I guess, where, calling right wingers, retarded or faggots or some shit, that's not really a big deal anymore. Especially if you're a queer person or like, there's a version like myself. Like, I'm autistic, I'm bisexual, I'm part of the queer community. Like, yeah, like, I mean, I've been called faggot and retarded all the fucking time, including on these, in these chats sometimes. I don't care, it doesn't hurt me. And frankly, I'll throw it back at them because I don't give a shit, Like, and it sucks, but hey, whatever. Like, they're bigoted pieces of shit, but, they're closeted, insecure little fuckboys, so whatever. It's not my fault they want my dick. You know what I mean? It's just like, fuck them. Like, why be offended over their shit? Because obviously condescend them and be like, hey, you can't sing that. That doesn't work. Like, and I think, people get that enough to the point, well, fuck them. Like, who cares at this rate to an extent? There's bigger fish to fry, so to speak. Wow. Wow. Are you saying wow because I, said the slur or something? Like, I mean, I'm just saying. And like I said, like, I got a pass anyway. I'm part of the queer community. I suck many a dick. I'm a little degenerate little faggot. Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop now. But point being, though, it's just like, when you got these, right-wingers who are just to the point where they're just like unabashedly, unapologetically just fucking bigoted like that, it's like no amount of condescending or like, no, that's wrong, like, no, that ain't gonna work. If anything, just like kind of just hitting them upside the head or fucking, like, just telling them to go fuck themselves because they're a piece of shit, you know what I mean? It's like that works better. If anything, throwing it back at them, is just as good too, because it gets them jaws in the wad. Suddenly they become all woke and they're like, well, why are you saying that, huh? And it's like, bitch, shut the fuck. It's like, you don't, like, what, you weren't just thinking about saying that to me like 2 seconds ago? It's like, shut up. It's like, give me a break. I mean, it's like, come on now. Like, it's not like you were fucking thinking that like 2 seconds ago about throwing it at people, you know what I mean? Weren't you just Seek Highland like, 5 minutes ago earlier? You know what I mean? It's like, fuck out of here. You know, it's like, give me a break. Because I've met these motherfuckers at like the ICE protests in Portland, and they do this shit. They try to like do this weird like, oh, I'm actually woke now thing. And it's just like, no, you're not. Quit pretending that you are. Like, you just ain't, bitch. I'm not. It's like give me a break. You're not like out lefting me, or suddenly I'm now like, I need to like remind myself of my adults or something. It's like that's not how it works, and that ain't how it gonna work. That dog don't hunt in these woods no more. There, sugar. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, there obviously needs to be a line in the sand still, but I mean, like I said, there tends to be bigger fish to fry, and arguably, let them feel comfortable doing that. In my opinion, fuck it. Like, because I'd rather them show their face and actually be masked off and do that type of shit, so I can actually know where they fucking side on things, instead of doing this like, oh no, not really. Actually, I'm kind of in the middle of things. Though I'm conveniently basically just a right-wing dumb fuck, so it's just one of those things where it's just like, I mean, I'd rather you just show me who the fuck you are instead of trying to, pussyfoot around it, Like, say it. Say it to my face. I want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like, it's gonna, like, why did I like that? I didn't need it like that yet. But it's just, it's one of those things where it's just like, like, I'd rather just show, or I'd rather just see where you lie on. And it just makes it that much easier. Because now I can at least, act accordingly towards that. You know what? Hey, your little freedom of speeches, also has a freedom of consequence, too. Don't be all butthurt because someone decided to take it a little extra, personal or something like that, and, do a little jab and give you a nice, good old, knuckle sandwich. You know what I mean? Like, now, there are consequences to that action as well, but, considering a lot of the broader sentiment about shit like this, I don't think most people are going to give a fuck. In fact, I know that for a fact. There was actually, like, on a public freakout on subreddit, I noticed that there's, like, this funny MAGA counter-protester and this Antifa super soldier, basically, at the ICE protest in Portland. It was one of the times I wasn't there, but I noticed it. I recognized where it was, and I was like, oh, shit. I was like, I know where that is. And I even recognized the MAGA too, and I'm like, oh, it's that little shrimp pop. Adorable. And dead ass, they both, like, agreed, being like, yo, you're saying you can fuck find me, man? Well, let's fucking throw hands. Let's fucking do it, bro. Like, he was actually showing his face and, showing his cards and actually asking, like, you, one-on-one. Come on. And I actually appreciated that with it. And the dude was like, really? Here, let me tell everyone else to fuck off for a bit. We'll have a little, people around us, but all right, you want to? You want to really fucking do it? And they shook on it. They actually did shake up really quick. And then they're like, all right, let's fucking go. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, oh shit. Like, this dude's also, not only like laying down the cards, but he's also being like, yeah, I can fuck you up probably. Foreshadowing, it doesn't happen. Twice, by the way. So the first time, the Antifa super soldier, I'm just going to call him that because it riles up right wingers. It's going to be fun. So, like, he got him, like, in the calf. He got a good kick in him. And then after that, like, the dude tried to charge him to grab, like, something on him to try to throw him down. But he literally got, the MAGA chud literally got picked up and thrown on the ground. And he got on top of him and was like, nah, now you got to tap. I heard him say, nah, you got to tap or something like that. And then everyone else, like, there was a lot of other people that saw that, not realizing what was going on. So a bunch of people showed up out of nowhere being like, what the fuck? Oh, fuck. And from there, everyone that was already there were like, no, back up. Like, they'll get off each other. It's round one. It's mutual fight things, mutual combat. And that's spread enough to the point where everyone figured that out. And then about a minute later, they're like, nah, I'm not done with you, bitch. Like, it wasn't really too much of a rough up. Enough where he got him on the ground, but not too bad. So he was like, all right, I'll do it again. So they go at it again, and the maggot tried to throw a punch to the point where he like tripped on himself and hit his face on the fucking fence. Like the metal fence that was there. He like went bonk and then like fell on the ground, and then the other dude just kind of like went over and like kind of pinned him down again and was like, "You're a dumb fuck" or something. Like he just roasted him basically at that point. And I was like, dude, what? Like, that's just art. That's just poetry, honestly, to me. Like, moi. Like, how do you, like, braggadociously, you know, go out of your way to be like, no, I can fuck you up, and you get fucked up, and even once by a fence, twice. It's like, dog, like, pack it up. You should have packed it up the first time, but then it's like, dude, you got fucking murked by a fence. A fence, dog. It's like, dude, pack it up and go home and never show your face again. Like, Jesus. It's a beautiful fucking video, honestly. Like, I think it's on the Portland subreddit too, as well. But it just, like, to me, it just proves that they, you know, even when they do try to have a little fight, they just can't back it up even then. They just can't. And I'm not saying I personally, you know, could probably fuck a motherfucker up or anything, but, like, still, it's like, I mean, I'm not even trying. I'm not even wanting to most of the time. I'm just like, dude, like, yeah, I'd punch you in the face because you're just a mega dumb fuck, but just like, Jesus Christ, like, just shut the fuck up and get out of here. No one likes you. You're literally here just to antagonize people. Like, I only will throw one if you try one at me, you know? That's how it works. Because I know how these motherfuckers like to play. They always try to instigate enough to where the slightest little grievance against them looks like they were assaulted, and then they try to make it look like that, especially for the stupid little videos and their like streams and shit. And it's like a way to, you know, just try to make people look bad when it's obviously them just they're purposely just trying to antagonize people. And if anything, purposely start fights to make it look like that they were the victims. It's crybullying and shit. Hello, guys. Well, hello. Kind of here a little mid rant. Made you look American as fuck, because I am. I mean, I am talking about like American politics a little bit and stuff like that as well right now. And I have kind of like a custom, you know, alternative American-ish flag, because the current one sucks and don't exactly like the current regime anyway. So I like to kind of consider myself more of like a Oregonian or a Cascadian more than anything else, because like I don't really like America. It kind of sucks. Just a little bit. Okay, I thought I had burp, but okay. Nah. What's the flag be? It's an alternative flag that's kind of a leftist, like kind of not like socialist, but syndicalist. It's basically like kind of like a alternative based idea of like if America was more of like a syndicalist slash like kind of more left workers based, you know, kind of government. It's actually based off an alternate history mod from a game, but it's very extensive, and there's like a lot of other expanded lore, mostly especially just because of like people that are interested in flags and shit like that. And I'm kind of a vexillologist too a little bit. I like flags, so cool, unique little flags I always like to, you know, pick up and shit like that. He's a lefty, nothing mark about him, guys. Come again? You know, the IWW was founded in Chicago, right? The Cold Wars with the labor movement in this country, that's pretty leftist as fuck. The Battle of Blair Mountain. You want to think about that again, buddy? Want to rethink that? That's the thing from GTA from Jimmy's room when you go out. What's the same? It technically has multiple names. Water pipe, bong, but those are the main two. I mean, it depends on like how big they are, because some of them have like a little like cap where, you know, you would have to like thumb it and then like release it, you know, to clear it out. And there's different types, and honestly, ones like that, they kind of suck. But these ones, though, those are good ones. I'm assuming that weed and things like that, aren't exactly common in your country, or at least, not in that form. How's it feel? Good. I mean, I'm a stoner, so I mean, I'm used to it. It's just a thing that, I do, I guess. I mean, like, I do get the fond memories of the first time, or if you haven't had it in a couple days and you're like, oh shit, you know, stony. It's I don't like. It's kind of hard to explain unless you've done it before. You know what I mean? Like tacos for lunch? Sure, tacos are amazing. Saw a documentary about how the IWW worked with a local community to take back the neighborhood from a corporate interest trying to turn it into a dystopian complex of ugly apartment buildings. That's freaking cool. Yeah, because historically, the IWW actually was a very influential movement, even outside of labor, in this country, and internationally as well. Hence its name, the International Workers of the World. And I'm not like an official member, but I like to call myself a wobbly. Which is a nickname for someone who would be a IWW member, or at least affiliate, or shit like that. I have an IWW flag. Well, it's actually at my friend's place because one of the last times I was protesting, I was wearing it like a cape, and I left it there. So, but like wobbly is basically just like anyone's like that essentially. So I call myself that. What's this, if I may ask? It's a labor union. It's these days not exactly prominent really anymore. But there are still wobblies, and there are still advocacy, and there's still, if anything, actually a slowly regrowth of that type of movement, because they're usually affiliated with other labor organizations or other movements, in tandem, like the PSL, like the Party of Socialism Liberation movement, or like the Working Families Party, stuff like that. So there, and especially these days, and with the concept of things like unions and labor and stuff like that growing again and becoming more of a popular idea, more than ever, in a long fucking time. They're starting to kind of regain some level of prominence, but not like to where they're like kind of one of the main faces. I don't know if it'll get like that anymore, but and arguably I think there just would probably need to be like a revitalized, new variation of the IWW, arguably, that, I guess doesn't necessarily have the baggage, because there was like a time where the IWW were basically just like college Marxist kids, honestly. And there was a time where they couldn't really exactly, push a lot of that advocacy as well. And nowadays, like, it certainly has changed, and kind of gone back to its like historical roots a little bit. Not to like the extreme radical side of things, arguably, though, because like the IWW was a major influential part of American history, especially when it came to labor laws, child labor laws, the 8-hour workday. Like the IWW was directly involved in one of the main prominent movements and unions that were helping pushing, for these type of workers' rights in the country, which are quickly being eradicated, like left and right every fucking day. So that's why, especially the IWW and a lot of other unions like the SEIU, like the Starbucks Labor Union, and other affiliates like the Teamsters, the United Food Workers, shit like that. Or, like there's a lot of, or the UAW is another one. Like a lot of them are gaining a lot of traction and prominence again because of these rights being stripped away for how long they have been. Especially at such a rapid succession when now people can barely afford the fucking, food on their plate. Blah, blah, blah. It's professed by Rick Chain use quote means no our current state of affairs. Yeah, it does, you dipshit. Jamesy, maybe you should like listen a little bit. because I am directly talking about how it does relate in tandem to what we're talking about in the current state of affairs. Like, huh? Jeez Louise. Some people, bro. Thank man for description. Of course. I'm also just kind of out of curiosity, wonder where you're from. Because you seem like a chill dude. If anything, I bet there's definitely some history like this, that's similar, probably in your own country too. Algeria? Oh, shit. Damn. I kind of honestly now feel bad because, like, that place hasn't really been stable in a while, hasn't it? Hopefully things are doing all right, though. But also, I know there is a little bit of a history around that, too. Like, from what I'm talking about Algeria. I don't know too much of it. But I know, like, some of the movement with, like, decolonization and, like, gaining independence from France. Like, it's, it definitely has a strong rooted history around a lot of that as well. There's no one place, man. We don't have terrorists or we don't have nothing. All right. Well, that's good at least. I just know, like, wasn't that long ago that, like, Algeria was kind of going for some shit, but at least that's good. At least things, where you're at, all, chilling and doing your thing, so that's good. Hell yeah. I mean, honestly, I imagine, like, most places are really just like that, and, I'd love to visit one day if I can get a chance. It's 96-1 in Independence, yeah. Sir Mal, so I don't know why they were just messing with my team, saying you're not this or that. They just don't know. As we were saying, are we ready for battle? What? I get you're mad, but now I'm confused. Huh? Are you like? It sounds like, honestly, like my brain is out reading that in Klingon. I am super mad, honestly, at these Pataks. I don't know why they are just messing with our glorious team in Warriors, saying that you are this or not that. Pataks! Blah! Bunch of block talks. Like they don't know us, real Klingons, who are standing in the rain ready for battle. Blah! Ready in battle in the rain with a bayonet in hand. How'd you feel when Trump beat Vince McMahon and shaved his head at WrestleMania? It was staged bullshit, but hey, at least Vince McMahon got a little fucked up, I guess, so I'm okay with that. Because he's a fucking freak, but fuck both of them. He looked like this one dude on the internet. Oh man, I can't remember what his name is. If you do, I'll add him to the list of people I've been told I look like. I've been called like Jay from Jay and Silent Bob. I forgot the name of the kid, but that one kid from Dazed and Confused, but I don't really look like him anymore. I did like 10 years ago, but not anymore. I look like if he grew up a little more, but I've also been called Joe Dirt. James Hetfield, Dave Mustaine. Honestly, I'm forgetting like one or two because I know there's at least like been others that I vaguely remember. But at least just right off the top of my head, that's what I would about remember. So I guess now I'll just have to add whatever that is to the list. But can you narrow it down? Maybe I might know who you're talking about. Are they like a gaming channel, like a science channel or something? Or, I mean, because if you can narrow it down, I might actually maybe know who you're talking about. Maybe. Yes, in 1999 and 2000, we had a Black Decade military versus Islamic groups, but totally safe, not 100% safe. Nice. Well, that's good. If anything, I'll definitely take a cheers to that. You from Chicago? No, I have been there, hence the hat. But yeah, I'm from Portland, so I'm not from Chicago or have any affiliation over there. But I would love to go visit that place again because it is probably dead ass, maybe one of my most favorite cities in the country, arguably. I haven't though, as it stands now. I will say I haven't really been to that many places. Like I've been to Orlando like when I was a wee little kid, so I don't even really count it. Like once. I've been to Dallas Fort Worth a bunch of times because I have family out there. That's nothing really to cry home to mama about. Portland's the state. No, Oregon is the state, but Portland's the city in it, or at least one of the cities. But that's where I'm born and raised. But I've also been to Minneapolis, St. Paul. That city's fucking amazing. Though I would say weirdly is very comparable to Portland and just across the river, Vancouver. Like if Vancouver and Portland were like considered quote twin cities, even though they're not, like weirdly enough, like Minneapolis, St. Paul, like is basically what Portland and Vancouver could be. Like I mean, in a way, like, and honestly, I like that. Like, I wouldn't say it was made it like, like the top like 2 or 3 in my opinion, but it's like top 5 for sure. Minneapolis was fucking awesome. It has really cool history and a lot of cool shit. I mean, especially when you're going alongside the Mississippi River, and especially to see the Mississippi from so far up north, it's pretty cool. Like, it's like I love it. Like, it's a really cool little spot. And St. Paul was better, not like it was incomparable to like Vancouver, better, but honestly like their infrastructure was lacking. Not as good in comparison to Minneapolis. Because my friend at the time, he fucked his leg up and he still wanted to go, and he was because we were going there to see Iron Maiden, and like, and the show was in St. Paul, so we had to, like, bring him along for that, and dead ass, like, well, the day before we went to St. Paul just to check it out, just to see how it is and see if it's like wheelchair navigable. It was not, so we were just like, fuck, and basically at that point, we're like, okay, so during the show, you're just gonna have to just haul your ass, basically, like with his crutches. So he, when we were there, like even doing that was a nightmare, to an extent, because their sidewalks were just kind of ass. I mean, just straight up. I could tell though that they were like building things up though, like because there was a lot of construction. So I could tell that maybe the next time I go to St. Paul, Minneapolis, like Twin City area, like I'm sure it'll be different, maybe better. But at least at the time, I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is like fucked. But still a really amazing place. And then I've been to Phoenix, hated it. I mean, it was even during December and shit, like, it still sucked. They have a really cool air museum there, and I did have a really awesome opportunity to see a F4F Wildcat, lands and hear like an old Grumman engine. I was like, oh my god, like that was a treat. So, oh man, I have a good memory of that place, but beyond that, sucked. It was just shit. But I've been to Los Angeles / like Anaheim once, around like my, maybe like 2012. It was all right. I mean, I don't really remember it that much. Been to Seattle a bunch of times. Cool city, love it. Their nightlife sucks though because they have no fucking nightlife. Like everything after 11 o'clock is basically just shut down. It sucks. Then what else? Billings, Montana. It's a growing city and not really much there. And then there's what else? Where else have I been? Chicago, obviously, and Vancouver. San Jose once, but that just was just kind of ass. Jesus Christ, get this spam and shit out of here. Holy fuck. Hey, I'm trying to read a chat there, bucko. Fucking Christ. I have to go all the way back because that was going on. God damn. Jesus. Just saw some very strange alien evidence on a live stream that ended with the police surrounding the streamer's house and them surrendering Metallic's Fury found. Huh? I kind of want to check that out, weirdly enough. India. Hey, what's up, India? What's up? I'm Toby, I have Tourette's. Well, hello. Favorite gay YouTuber? I'm only half gay. I'm only gay fully on Sundays. Just to piss off Christians. Spinning on the dinner of Jay-Z. Huh? Paramount bought a whole company under brother Wonder Murders. They're gonna own DC. I'm not surprised, and that's just lame. Unfortunately. Okay, I don't know. I don't know nothing about that. Extend you on Discord? Yeah, shoot them on Discord. Got any black friends? Yeah. I don't know. That's a random question. That's kind of a weird little question, but I mean, yeah. I was actually hanging out, having a kickback with one of them last night. And, oh my god, it actually reminds me, like, him and I were like, we're like talking with this other dude who straight up was like, nah, I don't like Tupac. I think his music shit. And both of me and him were like, excuse-moi. We were both like, what the fuck? Like, I was literally straight up like, hold up. Like, you can maybe not like him necessarily, like, you know, like his beats or whatever. I respect that. Like, hey, it's not your shit. But to say his ass and sucks, excuse-moi. I was like immediately like, hold up, no, we're playing some Pac now. Like, I just immediately was like, oh hell no, we're playing some Pac now, and we're fucking like, And he was just like, nah. He just wouldn't have it. I was like, bro, him and I were like, we bonded that night, being like, nah, dude, like this fool over here. I'm like, how? Literally everybody was kind of like, oh yeah, you just roast the shit out of him for that. Just bunk, absurd, bad take, ridiculous. So I was just like, motherfucker, dude. They said that because you look like a racist right next to him. I probably should have blown that out before I read that. I don't blame you, to be fair. To be fair, I don't really blame you, bro. I kind of do. I mean, that's the kind of the country boy in me. I will admit, I do got a little country boy twang in my body. So, but hey, at least I'm an old school like labor redneck. I'm not a honky tonk one. Do you think pyramids are actually a large energy chances? No. Live in grandma's basement? No, I live in my house. And this is literally just the kitchen. I'm just chilling here because it's just convenient. What's smoking on? Kind of a little salad, different things. I know what's there is definitely an indica. You were just on that Toad in the Trans Guys channel? Huh? Oh, you're atting somebody else? Oh, okay. Now this is random convos in chat. Live from Australia. Where you located in USA? Oregon. Are your friends with who? Charborg? I don't know who that is. Are you Big Milk from San Quentin Penitentiary? Big Milk? What? Big Milk? What is happening? What the fuck is happening right now? Chicago hat goes hard. Well, thank you. It used to go harder because I had some pins on it, but I was at one of the ICE protests a couple weeks back, and I lost the hat after like ICE ran out at one point and tried to chase someone. They couldn't catch him. It was kind of funny. But at the end of the night, like I was kind of sad that I lost it because I was looking around, thinking it probably was just on the ground, but someone picked it up. But there was 2 pins on here, and then there was one over here. And I found the hat on top of like, a bin, just chilling. And without the pins though, someone like nabbed the hat, took the pins, and then just left the hat. Like, bro, at that point, just take the fucking hat, dude. Like, so why do I just take the pins and just leave the hat? Like, I've never had that happen. Jesus. Do I need to, like, put subscriber only mode on? They need the 50 cents from scraping the pins? How? 15? What? When life gives you big cows, you gotta grab some big milk. Damn right. Well, hey. Like, I'm some big milk, I guess, so. About size 14. Sure. Make them all sober again. True. As long as that keg's breath dumb fucking also gets sober too. Or frankly, make all these fucking politicians sober. Make it so they like literally by law have to like have a drug test like every week or something. Exemption is the weed. They can smoke that, but that's it. But if they, test positive for like alcohol, cocaine, heroin, whatever the fuck, then yeah, no. Immediately like you're want to get a new hat? Because I have different hats. I have a lot of hats. I actually have another one right over here. Does that have to be like particular? Do I have to like switch hats every time? That story's fuck. No, it's not. That literally is just how it is. Ass hat. Ass hat. But which is kind of funny because not even like 2 minutes ago, someone was saying that hat is dope as fuck, bro. now it's just like, nah, it's actually like shit, bro. Oh my god, dude, the duality of man, bro, I love it. No one said that. Yeah, someone did. Why are you coping? Is this coping to you? If I was, I'd be triggered at the fact y'all said it's ass, but I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, I find it funny, to be honest. I find it amusing. How many moths do you raise in here? Yeah, like I just keep a pet moth. I'm putting subscriber only mode. This chat, the chaos is insane. I need at least a little bit of a little bit of order. Like, holy shit. This chaos is absurd. It's hard to keep track of everything. God damn. Chaos. Oh. Yeah, smash that fucking subscribe button. Damn it, where's Rose? Do I need to like actually like go share this to him or something? Because I need him to pin my Cash App or some shit. Give me money to deal with this bullshit. In the meantime, I shall take advantage of the algorithm to slowly but surely be monetized. Well, that's a twist of a tune. What's hashtag? Literally the same as here, just without the space. Ignore Husky. You don't have to, by the way. I mean, I am kind of memeing, but honestly, that ass. Hey, if anyone wants to give a little love and a little, just a tip, then you know, hey, it's always appreciated. After my night, so you know it, right? Yeah, if you want to post it in there, I'll put a pin on it. Guess what the homies getting a new pin for his hat, lol. Well, I kind of have a weird philosophy that pins in a weird way are kind of communal to a degree if you think about it, especially if you're like a crust punk or like a dirty kid or like just a punk in general. Like in that community, it's kind of normal that every so often your pins will fall off if you're moshing or skanking to the beat, stuff like that. That happens sometimes, but that also happens with other people's pins as well. So a lot of the time, you know, like you'll like look on the ground thinking, oh, maybe that's my pin, but nope, it's somebody else's pin, but it looks cool as fuck. So you're like, yeah, fuck it, that replaces the one I lost. You know what I mean? Like, so to a degree, like it still kind of sucks that you lose one, especially if it's like one that you like bought, like specifically like online, like a really nice one. Because actually, this hat right here is like my punk hat, and I need to like fill it back up with a few holes, which is kind of ironic because it's fucking literally just everywhere. But I mean, I can even tell you which ones I found and which ones I picked up versus ones I bought. Like those two, I bought and I kept there because they're kind of cute. But I don't really wear them as much anymore because of those. Because I've had times where these have almost been lost, and I'm like, no, I'm keeping these. But I mean, a lot of them I have bought before. I've just had, but there are a few of them like this one right here. I found that one I picked up at a show because it was on the ground. This is another one that I found in the middle of a mosh pit, as well. Like at least just for this hat and my punk jacket that I got, which is like full of pins. Like I can't exactly tell you which ones are like from what, but I know a lot of them are picked up from different shows as well too. Wow, so you are furry? Yeah, is that a problem? Mental unstable audios. Wow, I guess being a furry, I guess, means mentally unstable. Oh shit, I can't handle it. Oh god. Hey, at least you had to subscribe to fucking say it though. Still in hell, boy. It just sounds like this person just wants to yiff my little furry booty hole really hard. And I'll turn sub off only mode now. I just needed that just to still Orta in the cult there for a little bit, but now it's not a big deal. I think we'll be Gucci. I don't think I'll ever get an opportunity to go to any event, so I really appreciate any film. Something like that. I really don't like I know, right? The yearn for the yiff. I know, the yearn for the yiff. Ooh, woo. Which is funny, because I do... I mean, I could just waltz into my room and grab something and be like, yeah, like throw out like one of my bad dragon noodles, like, here you go, just throw it around. I mean, because I know for a fact I could technically get away with that. It would just be age restricted so fucking hard. It just hurt my chances of monetizing myself, so I'm not going to do it, but it would be kind of funny. Because I know there's like bad dragon unboxing videos and shit. They exist and all this stuff. Like, so come on, you know what I mean? Like, I can have a little fun, but watch YouTube not care and just like, just fucking like murk me anyway, and I get like a guideline strike and I can't do shit for like 3 months. All right, guys, I guess I'm streaming on Kick now, which I do have a Kick account. And I will actually, since I brought that up, I will admit that at some point I might, occasionally do streams over there as well. Because I could do reacts and stuff over there, so I'm thinking You know, I might start trying to do that eventually, but not quite yet. In time though, because I want to at least get maybe things set up a little bit, you know, first before I start doing that, and maybe do like a test run, you know, like just over there, just kind of see what happens, you know, shit like that. YouTube's cooked anyway. Well, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, I want to be monetized to keep doing shit over here, for sure. But you know, you need your backup plan. You know what I mean? You need some backup options. Oh, don't. Oh, you're still in the game? Like a father. Even though he's very much in my life, literally the other night, him and I were texting about going seeing my, you know, niece and my sister sometime this summer. Totally a lack of a father. Are you projecting there, buddy? Did your dad leave to grab the milk and cigarettes and never came back? Is that what happened? Is that what's going on there, bud? Are we projecting? Because that is kind of cute. And hey, I thought you were leaving, by the way. I thought I was mentally unstable and you were adios and you're way out of here. I mean, hey, I'm not going to force you out the door, but, you know, it's there. You know what I mean? Like, why are you still here, dude? Self-projection is a real thing. There's professional help out there to share publicly available resources if we need them. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you know, there is a suicide hotline, brother. I mean, if you need it, dude, it's out there. All you have to do is just look it up, man. If you really need the help, it's out there, bro. I'm not your therapist. I can only, you know, point you to that direction if you need it. It's available, man. It's okay. It's all right, little one. You'll be all right. I'll be the daddy that stepped up, maybe, you know, eventually. I do got mama speed dial, and yeah, the last time I laid it for her was pretty nice. I know. Sometimes you gotta get a little cougar in your life. You know what I mean? I had to throw in your mama joke in there. I'm sorry, I had to do it. I had to do it. And a stepdad one in there too. Oh shit! Ah! I snapped it so hard it literally snapped. Oh shit! Jesus, I thought these things were more sturdier than that. Damn near burning the fucking place down the ground. Pretty that's case of him being mentally fucked. It's both for sure. Yeah, it's both. Yeah, it's definitely both. Greetings from New Zealand. Hey, what's up there, lad? What's up? I like how after we called out that one dude from earlier, now he's just like pretty silent. Interesting. Here he is. Oh, cool. Let's make sure it's on out. It's protesting in self-reflection. You think someone like that is capable of doing that? Even if they do it in a way to where they're like, nah, definitely not. No, I need to suppress this and put it in the closet further. No. Even though you know that, like, they got some deep insecurities going down. You know, like, oh man, like, I think everyone always is going to have, like, some variable of an insecurity in their life, you know, and all that shit. You know what I mean? I mean, but when it is something like when it comes to just yourself, like your sexuality or some grudge you have on your like your family or some shit, you know, something like that. It's like, especially when you're like an adult, it's like, come on, like you gotta like you gotta sort that shit out. You know what I mean? You know, you gotta just like admit to some shit, you know, of yourself or something. You know, like There's gotta be some shit there, you know, like, and to deal with that. Cause like, motherfucker, bro. I mean, like, you know, I was kind of there at one point where there was definitely some projection in my life, you know, with various different things. Like, I wasn't like openly just casually bi like I am now, like fucking 10 years ago. Not even like fucking, you know, 5 years ago. You know, it's the thing that, yeah, it does take, you know, kind of getting over some shit because of like things you were taught, you know, growing up, or, you know, or like some personal trauma or whatever the fuck it is. For me, it's just because I was just taught like, oh, well, you know, love to sin or hate to sin, but, you know, being gay or bi is an immense sin, you know, shit like that, you know, like, so there's all this like this stupid bullshit guilt trip thing around it. But obviously, you know, it's don't bother me no more, because who gives a fuck, especially when it comes to religious nonsense. It's like, come on now. You know, people are going to be like that, what the fuck ever. If anything, it just, yeah, especially if they're like a massive, like, proponent of wanting to constantly talk about shit like that and bring it up all the time, like people like Steve Anderson, for example, like when it comes to preachers, then, you know, it behooves me to think that they, you know, probably got a lot of Pornhub searches that relate to some gay shit, you know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where it's just like, really, it's on them, not me. Why, if they really think it's such a sin and everyone is susceptibly, like, you know, to it in some way, shape, or form, that's just not how they are, then what's that say about them? Because, like, I didn't choose, you know, necessarily to be like, you know, bisexual dude. I mean, I can be, yeah, I could change in a sense of how, like, I feel about that, you know, but that's about it, you know what I mean? Like, it's how I feel around it. I mean, and coming to terms to that, and also like knowing that, especially for me, like I'm kind of like a sexually somewhat fluid person, because there are times where I'm like, yeah, you know, like a chick, you know, being with her or something like that feels nice, and sometimes feeling dude, I don't know, you know, just that, they got moods, you know, like, and I'm a switch as well, so there's moods around that, but hey, you know, like, there's nothing wrong with that, you know, people got their sexual moods. I do too. Like, you know, I ain't exempt from that. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things where it's like, it should never be seen as a big deal, but yet for so many people, they just have these fucking hangups because of what they've been taught. I mean, when it comes to these insecurities, especially sexually, like, it's literally just some taught shit. Like, because also being taught and understanding and knowing what it is, honestly, is what needs to be the emphasis when it comes to things like this, because it helps better understand, you know, and come to terms of how people feel about that, you know, because I kind of had it, you know, even before I, you know, being how I am being like bi or like pan or whatever the fuck, you know, like, you know, I kind of had a hunch and knew subconsciously, even like around sixth grade and shit. You know what I mean? Like I kind of knew for a while, but, you know, like I said, you know, to actually have like, you know, proper sex education, proper like, you know, like social education around it and understanding these things help, you know, kind of come to terms to understand, realizing like, oh, these are just things that some people feel, and they're people that are just straight up gay or straight up lesbian, or they're just straight as a nail or whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like, but I'm kind of a little swiggly. I'm in between that. I'm in that broader, like, you know, Kinsey sexual spectrum where I'm kind of in the middle of all that. But that's okay, because everyone is to some degree, arguably. It's just that, yeah, you got a lot of people that are just in that straight section, and some people that are in that gay spot, but there's a lot of things in the middle, you know? Closeted gays being the most homophobic has always confused me. Not to me. I understand it, honestly. I mean, at least on this metric, because they're trying to suppress this idea that them being homosexual is wrong and verboten, especially in the idea that, like, oh, I need to be raising a child and have a family, especially in this very hyper Christo nationalist or Christian traditionalist, you know, perspective and conservative perspective. Like, it's the idea that, like, it's wrong, and also even gross because, like, yeah, like, anal sex is not exactly the cleanliness sex out of all of it, you know, out of all of the sex performances you could be doing, granted, But still, it's like if you actually have safe, clean sex, even there, that's because that's possible. Like there's nothing wrong with it. But to them, there is, and they think that there are a lot of aspects, including bullshit propaganda, like if you're if you're a fag, you're getting AIDS. Kind of like the '80s idea and shit. Or even that led up even to the '90s, even to a certain extent, like even to this day, to a degree. It's like there's that shit still. So I mean, there's a lot of this idea of like it's so wrong that everyone else must be having these thoughts and stuff, especially because if I'm having these thoughts, then everyone else is. So I need to preach about how wrong it is and let everyone know and why, to make myself reassured that it's okay to be repressive. That's essentially really it. That's why you have so many preachers and so many like conservative right-leaning people, or even trolls, whoever. You got people out there that, like in very certain circles will probably be fine and open with it. But to a certain degree, they're going to project this sense of like hatred and like this repression. And everyone else must have the exact same thoughts. So I gotta like, repress it myself and make sure everyone else does too, to keep myself from having urges. That's essentially it's kind of like the idea around it. Got a little like 12% better. Is that plugged in? Oh, that was a little loose. There we go. Okay, cool. You know what? Actually, here, let me plug this little bad boy in. Get a little cool lights. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, nice. I forgot to do that earlier. Close the lab. Thank you, Inky. Ask you. God, Deb, I wish you both the best of possible day. Have a great live stream. Well, of course. Hey, thanks so much, mate. Well, it's actually night for me too, but hey, we only been going on for an hour 17 or 18 minutes. Like shit, honestly, like I thought we were like 2 hours in. Fucking hell. All right, hey, we're just kind of like bing, bam, boom, pow. We're just popping it through. Happy 1 a.m. Oh God, don't remind me. Honestly, after that kickback last night and how long it went, I did not realize what time it was. Like, because my phone died, and when I woke up, I didn't realize that. So when it finally turned on, I saw the time, and I was like, oh, no. I literally just, like, facepalm went, oh, no. I had shit I was supposed to. And then I'm just like, fuck. I kind of knew that was going to happen, but I'm just like, motherfucker. I'm like, oh, no. And I think my friend Logan was supposed to be working today, but when I woke up and it was like 8, and I knew he was supposed to be long gone for work at that point, I was just like, oh, he called in. Like, he was just not feeling it or some shit, so. I figured he would have popped in at some point here, but I guess not. It was kind of funny, because I feel like I was the one who was kind of like, outside of like everyone else I was there, the more like drinky poo out of everybody. But I guess not. Started off the great combo on the stroll ball edition, but then we hit some real time. Makes this perspective seem lifetime stretch. 9 is young. Oh yeah, it still is a little bit. And also, I mean, we kind of been going off and on with like some different politics and philosophy, different things like that. Ain't too late to keep going with a little extra, especially a little late night chill. Let's see if I can do some fun little effects or something to add to this. Whoa, I had like a weird little like glitch moment. Oh shit. It kind of works. I kind of dig it. It kind of weirdly makes it a little fickle fucky, but I kind of like it. I kind of dig that. The floating sphere alien thing is kind of crazy. Well, you want to give me like a little rundown about what that was? It like just straight up a live stream? Like, what was going on with it? And why do I feel like Moist Critical or somebody else is gonna like probably maybe potentially talk about it if it ends up gaining traction? I will say I want to believe, but I have like a principle on the idea about like when it comes to interstellar beings, because I do think aliens exist, but the idea that I think that they have, that like they visited Earth. I mean, maybe into the sense that they have like had probe, maybe. But even then, if they wanted to study our planet and what's going on here, like they can study us from outside the solar system. With what I would understand would be very like advanced like sensor technology and shit. You know what I mean? And even if they were in our solar system, like somewhere like the Kuiper Belt, having like a little probe that's pretty dormant and we wouldn't be able to detect, would be just chilling there and be, just documenting. You know what I mean? Or maybe even like in one of Saturn's, in the rings, or something. You know what I mean? Like in Saturn's rings, like they don't necessarily have to like be anywhere near a planet to, study us. You know what I mean? So it's just like, why especially jeopardize your presence in the universe to them where you don't know what the ramifications would look like, even if that society and species has their own ideas about UFOs and aliens, etc. Like, let that naturally happen, kind of thing, right? Because you don't know what ramifications could happen, especially with rapid advancement of different technology, possibility of destroying themselves, whatever the fuck, right? And especially if you're trying to research that species, you want to try to be as hands off as possible and like just document from a distance, so there's the most minimal amount of interference. I mean, even in the wild where, like in safaris and stuff, like, right? I mean, to an extent, we do that, like when it comes to studying different animals and especially new species, we try to at least, do it from a distance to an extent so we can at least, do the most minimal amount of interference when, studying them. I mean, they might get curious and approach you, possibly, but, that doesn't mean you can fuck with them. You think send nanotech we never see? Well, possibly. That's another thing that could be an idea that can happen. Do you watch Isaac Arthur or John Michael Gaudier? I haven't heard. Isaac Arthur sounds, I think, familiar, but I'm not really familiar with any of their work. I have not seen any of their shit. I was trying to take the travel stars and crashing when you got there. I mean, that's kind of another thing too. Like, all the times that supposedly aliens crash landed on Earth, like that just, I mean, they're so interstellar and so advanced, but yet somehow they just crash on our planet and like, oop, like that just doesn't necessarily make sense. You know what I mean? Like, and like I said, I want to believe, I do, but they haven't visited our planet. At best, they're probably like somewhere in our solar system with a probe, not them themselves, but like a probe of theirs studying us, and then they're getting that information relayed back to them and shit. You know what I mean? It's some shit like that. They have no reason to like have any of their presence here outside of sending a probe or two to study it. Maybe it's a dumb aliens trying to get likes. Yeah, this alien influencers. It's Ku Klux over here. We're about to go over here into this fucking little restricted zone. And then they get shot down by like the fucking alien police, and then they just crash land and they're all dead anyway. So they try to fuck with like their version of alien, Area 51, looking at, these primitive aliens. Okay, that would be actually a funny like story, honestly. That sounds like it'd be a funny like graphic novel or something, dude. Or like a little short film. Okay, this guy be a thing. I can see this be like a comedy. Like, watch one of the aliens live, and now they have to get the fuck off the planet and try to sneak back away, even though they're wanted. And like, I don't know, like, there needs to be a movie around this. We already have like alien comedy movies like Paul and shit. Okay, like, I mean, you know, we're not, you know, we're not holier than thou. We should make it. Though I'm creating trademark. It's mine. I am claiming that though a little bit. You get mutual, you know, 50-50, but I'm just saying. They become furries. So highly early features, yeah, they just become furries. Oh, you know, I just fucking realized that there's already a TV show that's already based off of this. I forgot the name of the show, but oh my god, I just realized there's already something like not exactly like this, but it's kind of like this. Motherfucker. Shit. My friend Logan would know, though, but he's not in here in the chat. But the whole time they're trying to get content. I guess it would work if they're just in fursuits all the time. Just be a furry locale. I will admit, if I did have like a fursuit head or some shit, I probably every so often would wear it and try to smoke weed out of it or something. You know, just sort of fuck with it. It'd help with the algorithm. I don't care if there's trolls in here being weird. I don't give a fuck. If anything, I live for it. I love the projection that they do sometimes. It's like, oh, you coping, bro? It's like, nah, bro. It is ye that be coping. You know, just to do a self roast, depending on how the aliens look like, they probably wouldn't be able to like have to hide themselves that hard, because there are definitely different furries out there that are exactly the most appealing. But I will admit, there are unironically like just some studs. And I actually unironically mean that. There's one that I'm really telling on myself. There's one called Palace Wolf that legit does like workout content sometimes, but he does it like with, you know, his first head on some and shit. But dude is like fucking svelte, dude. Like unironically, like Greek chiseled fucking status. I'm just like, I'm kind of like, bro. Like, daddy. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, oh shit. I mean, I'm not even joking. I'm like, holy fuck. Like, how do you get like that, dude? Yoked Yiffing. He does that too. He does content like that too. And I'm kind of like, fuck. Just saying. He does stuff like that too. But honestly, it's just kind of like, hey, you know, I love it because, like, you know, there's at least, you know, that dichotomy. But there are so many different furries that are just the polar opposite. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, bro. You gotta work on yourself there a little bit. Like, I ain't saying go hide yourself away, but you gotta do some things. You gotta fix yourself. It's like, Jesus Christ. I've met some people at, like, you know, the Portland Furry Con that's here every so often, every year. And the few times I've been there, I've met some people where I'm like, you're cool and all, but bro, there's some things about you, dog. I'm sorry. There just is. And I'm like, I hate to just be like that guy, but I don't say anything, but I'm just like, okay, I'm going to grab a drink at the bar or something. You want to come? And they usually are like never like down for that. So I'm like, thank fuck. That's usually like my gauge. I've only had like one dude that was like, yeah, but at least he was actually chill. But he was just very quirky, honestly. That was just his thing, and I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about you. You missed some shit, and you're telling me a little too much. You're like kind of like pseudo trauma dumping on me. It's like, oh god. Luckily, he did it when we were drinking, which is kind of ironic, I guess. But hey, whatever. Could you show me how my name is Jude? No. What? Mankind has gone to my capacity to comprehend an alien civilization. That's why it kept it hidden from us. Nah, I don't think that's it there, bud. I think it's just a virtue that, like, an alien civilization wouldn't be near the planet. Like I was saying from earlier, like, they just wouldn't. Why would they? You know, like, why would they be here? They can send a probe, like I said, but they don't have to send it directly to the planet. They could just, send it to, like, the Kuiper Belt or some shit, or even, like, as far as, like, Pluto or some shit, you know what I mean? Earth isn't that interesting. I mean, we're literally in, like, the boonies of the galaxy. Like, based off of, like, what we know of where we are and our place in this galaxy, we're literally are in, like, the fucking boonies, basically. If there was going to be any other life, in the galaxy, there sure shit ain't going to be anywhere near us. So if they were to be around us, they're probably like, oh, there's life on that planet. Send a probe. We shall study it. And we shall have, like, a small little transition post here to, gain data and gather that. That's probably as far as it is going, you know what I mean? Like, and maybe one day we might see that shit and be like, oh, there's a probe here. What the fuck is this? But at this point, I doubt that's happening anytime soon, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it's one of those things where we're just not going to know any of that shit. I mean, like I said, I want to believe, but I mean, you kind of have to, it's hard to say, but it's like kind of have to put yourself in, like, the interstellar galactic shoes. If you're, like, in the boonies of the galaxy, traveling to somewhere else because of, like, some other shit that might be more prevalent or more relevant, for your broader civilization, but you're like, oh, there's like a weird little interesting thing here. Want to send a little probe? I'd be like, yeah. We don't have to waste a lot of resources to check it out, but we can send a probe and study it, see what happens. And then eventually gather enough information to realize, like, oh, there's like a Mark II civilization or some shit. They're not quite there, but, they're about to be, like, on our level and maybe, criteria around, like, 200 plus fucking years. But, they'll still be primitive, and that's only if they survive climate change and the fact that they are probably killing themselves or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, they're, at this point, we're probably just, like, an interesting little point of study for them. You know what I mean? Like, some shit like that, and if I was, like, on that level, finding something like that in a galaxy, I'd probably be the same. That makes the most sense, logically, if you think about it. Why send a bunch of resources, to, like, some shit like that when, especially in the near future, on their own, like, with that study and research, nothing's probably going to happen, or come from it. There'll probably still be life there, but that's about as far as it's going to go. Maybe it would be a little interesting point of, like, resource gain, at some point, if they decide to. Depending on what happens, right? So who knows? Card Shift 3 Civilization won't have use for us. Well, I wasn't even necessarily meaning by, like, the card shift levels, when I was talking about that, like, tier 2 or whatever, what I was mentioning from earlier, but yeah, like, any, like, level of intergalactic or interstellar, civilization, at least as it stands right now, wouldn't really have much interest, for us or this planet right now. I mean, like, if we have, like, our Zach and Coffin Star Trek moment, we, achieve, like, interstellar travel or some shit, and we're able to, like, travel to Alpha Centauri within, like, 30 minutes or some shit, maybe some civilization will be like, oh, all right, let's check them out. But who knows? There's also, like, the jungle theory, where it's like, you got, like, the cosmic spiders that might see that and be like, consumption. Consumption. And then maybe eat us all. I don't know. That's another thing, too. Do we really want to fucking, meet them? Because maybe they're just like, will eventually be like, we will be ready for consumption, but we yearn for some, struggle for battle and food. You know what I mean? Like, What if they're yearning for that? What if they're cosmic spiders, bro? What if they're not the Vulcans, but the cosmic spiders, dude? You want to fuck with that? You want to take that gamble? There's that too. You never know. Given a great speed of light travel, it'll take us billions of years to get out of our galaxy. Well, no shit. Yeah, duh. I mean, like, I'm not even talking about, like, you know, intergalactic. I'm talking about just interstellar, you know, within our galactic, you know, galaxy and shit. Because theoretically, we can, you know, if we're able to find some form of faster than light travel, which I think is probably strictly in the realm of science fiction, but I know there are, like, theoretically possibilities around that, but and like theories, you know, that we just don't have the tech to do so. But I mean, it's a possibility. So I mean, at least theoretically. So it's one of those things where I don't think we'd be able to achieve. But if we're able to at least get close enough, I mean, hey, that'd be good enough for me. And plus, we know for a fact there are different planets within a certain amount of light years from us that theoretically, if we had like colony ships or something like that, you know, where obviously different generations are going to have to, you know, be had to get there. But it's one of those things where it's just like, you know, it's a possibility that, you know, we could be an interstellar species, you know, at least in a very primal way versus like your stereotypical like Star Trek or Star Wars style shit, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, like, everything's always like, especially when it comes to science like that, is theoretically a possibility, but we just don't have tech for it. Even if we understood how to do it, like, I mean, I don't think we'd have the ability and the resources to do that. And plus, there'd just be such a consumption of resources as well. There'd be a lot that'd have to go into something like that. And do we have those means? I don't know. Probably not. Ooh. Well, I like how this shit just got really hard really quick. If aliens come to Earth, they'll probably look for wood, the most rare substance in the world. I mean, maybe our wood. I mean, I would imagine, like, if there's plant life that exists here, then a variation of that probably does exist as well in other planets that have life. And we know that there are plants that have the, you know, qualifications to have, you know, at least basic forms of life. I mean, from what we were able to get. Probably not like advanced life, but, you know, like wildlife that you would see around, you know, in the world. You know, like we have here. So, I mean, theoretically, I would imagine that like trees and things like that would also, you know, exist in other plants, just not the same way that they exist here. And also, we got some alien ass looking fucking trees that exist out here too. Like, you seen those, like, I forgot what they're called, but like there's this island off the coast of Yemen that has like these really unique looking trees that basically makes it look like you're from like another fucking planet or something, dude. It's like they're really fucking cool. And then there's also I mean, then you get like redwoods, which which aren't really exactly like impressive on their own, but just on the virtue of how big and fucking huge they can be. Like like trees like the General Sherman and shit, right? Like they're fucking ginormous. I mean, like knowing how like insanely massive some of these things could be and so complex and impressive. There are definitely like plants out like even in like the Amazon and shit, like when it comes to different plants out there, right? Like I mean, it's actually kind of like wild some of the alien like fucking plants that we do have that exist here and probably elsewhere around the fucking galaxy. uh, Plants could be everywhere, we just don't know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like other planets, planets, Jesus Christ. Like other planets, likely have plants, that are there. They just probably, aren't gonna look like, the plants that we have here. You know what I mean? And maybe some of them probably do, just out of coincidence, just on the virtue that we do got some alien ass looking fucking plants that exist here on this planet. Chilean pine or aka dialogue trees that look fake. Oh yeah, yeah, those trees look fucking like they shouldn't exist, but yeah, but that's what I mean though. Oh, that felt good. Oh, nice. Ooh, that felt good. Ooh, let's see if I can like. I've been able to like pop my arms out before. Oh, can't do it. Damn. Almost good though. Actually, it'll take a little piss so real quick. Nah, shot my time. Enjoy the ska tunes and all that. Boom, boom, boom. Whoa. Oh, she ain't kind of little got quiet down. Bleh. Nothing. Actually, I'm kind of feeling a little snack here a little bit. Oh, I do have like this weird little like concoction that I made the other night that I'm thinking, it's good. It's not amazing though. It's just some like tomato sauce with pasta and just popcorn chicken. or not chicken, fucking popcorn shrimp. Like, you know, kind of, I was like, you know, whip that up, and I was like, it's good, but I just feel like it needs, like, something else. I just don't know what. But it's too late now, it's already been made, but I'm just like, damn. What is what? What is and is what? I don't know. That doesn't make sense, so I don't know what you're trying to say. I'm trying to say, like, what is this? Tell us one amazing story of your life someday you can't forget. I mean, I got a few, to be honest. I mean, I don't know. That's kind of hard to say because I have a couple that I can think of. Tell something. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to just whip up a story on the fly. You know, usually it's easier to tell a story when it's like kind of in tandem with like a rant or something. So I'm just like, fuck. You ever had a hero? Sure. I have many. But you know what to say, sometimes you don't want to meet those heroes. I have some in the sense of like what they were, but not like how they are now, kind of thing. But I hear. Let me put a pin on at least that initial one because I think I could probably think of something, but this might take a sec. You know what? I got a couple. They're kind of they actually got two that are kind of in tandem. It was actually back in 2020 during like when a lot of the George Floyd protests were like ramping up and shit. And I was you know, I was part of that, you know, doing streams, you know, showing that off, mostly on Twitch at the time. And I remember there was this one time, and I was not streaming anymore at this point, but like it was one of the first times that I had to experience like getting tear gassed and shit like that. But I had a gas mask because I kind of knew the risks of that, and I do have like I already like I collect like a lot of, you know, military kind of stuff, and I had an old Soviet gas mask, and luckily I had a, you know, modern filter that I had on it because, you know, if I'm gonna wear it around or something like that, especially if some shit like that goes down, might as well put an actual filter that's not like asbestos rated or something. You know, so like I had one of those, and then I like when I was going on, I was like, you know, walking my bike back trying to like get the fuck out of the fog and shit, and like trying to find like a space where I know that would be okay, and then I could be like, okay, I can kind of regain my shit, take this off and not be in this fog of gas and shit. But in the midst of that going on, there was like just a random dude, like just straight up like a random guy that was not part of the protests. I know that much for a fact, and just was kind of caught up in it. I think it was just some homeless dude that was probably like sleeping somewhere. And then obviously you're gonna get woken the fuck up to like tear gas suddenly fucking fumigate in your face, you know, and you probably freaked the fuck out and ran off and be like, but you know, and I, you know, at the time, like there was a car that was like pretty much right next to me, and I'm like holding my bike, and I, you know, see the silhouette of this guy, and I'm like, fuck. I kind of looked at my bike, looked up, and I just dropped it, and then I, you know, ran up to the dude and like grabbed him, but then he kind of like with, you know, tears in his eyes because tear gas will literally make your eyes just fucking swell and tear up. Like you aren't really gonna be able to see. He just thought I was like some cop or something initially. He was trying to push me away, but I yelled like for my mask, like, I got you. I'm getting you. I'm trying to, you know, get you out of here, you know. And he was like, just kept repeating, I can't breathe. I can't breathe, which is like that infamous fucking quote that started a lot of that shit. You know what I mean? And I was like, fuck, you know, and I just like grabbed his arm, put it around my shoulder, and we just ran. And I was like, and I was half tempted to be like, do I take this mask off of me and put it on him? But by the time I got back to my bike, there was two protest medics that I think happened to be behind me or what. I don't really know where they came from, but they just happened to be by my bike and saw me, and I, put him down by my bike, and I was like, "Yo, take care of him." And they like got him by the sidewalk, and I picked my bike up, and I literally like put it up, look like this, and there was just a fucking wall of stormtroopers, a fucking, I don't know if they're like Portland police or fucking feds. I think they're Portland police. I don't really know. Probably a mix of both, to be honest. And I just looked over and I saw all of them just like boom, 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 just marching. I was like, fuck. And I just picked up my shit and I just started hauling ass. And frankly, I don't know what happened with those other three after that. Like I kind of just left them there, but they were on the sidewalk, so I knew regardless they'd be fine. I knew that much. But while I was running with my bike, these motherfuckers are throwing flashbangs, smoke grenades, probably more tear gas, and that shit's popping all around me. And I'm just holding like my hat, my fucking Stetson I was wearing at the time with this gas mask on, while also like holding my bike, just like, fuck, like kind of like curled up, running and hustling. And I got to the waterfront where the fog was kind of mostly cleared out. And at that point, everyone else mostly had their shit off, and a lot of people were covering and like, fucking, coughing their lungs out, getting treated for the tear gas. And I popped my shit off because I knew I was going to be fine. And I was just like, my face was just soaked and sweaty. And I was just like, yeah, fuck it. Yeah, I just started yelling shit. I don't even remember what. I just started yelling. It's like, you motherfuckers. Something. It was definitely some very venomous shit, that's for sure. I remember that much. I just forgot exactly what, though. But I don't know. So the other story that's in tandem was actually the first time I got arrested. So it was, and I have a video of it still. If I could, I would show it. I wish I could. I need to get it uploaded, honestly, because, I want to at least, make sure that's available so I can just show people it, if they want. But it was on June 19th of 2020. It's about I'd say 2 weeks after that incident, and I was already kind of like radicalized and pretty like all right, I expect this shit. I know what to deal with. I was in it for the long haul for the game. You know what I mean? Like I loved it at that point. Because of being able to feel like I was doing something. But what happened was we were me and my friend happened to be part of like the peaceful part of like the protest that was going on. That was at this place in Portland called Revolution Hall. And there was a lot of cool activities and stuff like that going on. But then I'd say maybe like around 11:30 to midnight, there was a bunch of people that came from the Justice Center in the federal courthouse area, where they're like, yo, there was like some unlawful assembly, shit that went down. They're throwing tear gas stuff out there. If anyone wants to give support and reinforcements, like we're kind of done. But hey, if anyone else wants to go down there, and a bunch of people decided to, join up on that. Me and my friend did. And where we went was where they were doing the unlawful assembly part. And I looked down like a couple blocks, like a little where in my perspective, like looking left would be north. So like a little bit more up north, I could see the wall of cops and a bunch of protests and a lot of shenanigans. But there's like a small little crowd of people at the park that's, right in front of the Justice Center in the federal courthouse area. And a bunch of people, like bitching, complaining, yelling stuff in their megaphone, stuff like that. Me and my friend, were there, part of that, basically doing the same thing. And they're just like, get off the sidewalk, blah, 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 unlawful, blah, blah, doing their bullshit. And I was on my knees at one point, right in front of the sidewalk where there's like, parking zones. So I'm like at one of the parking zones. I'm saying, I have a right to be here, like I'm not doing nothing, blah blah blah. I was streaming, so I had my hand, on my phone, like right here on one hand, and just have my other hand just up, just being like, hey, I have a right to be here, like what's blah blah blah, and then I'd say like at a certain point, like 10 seconds after that, maybe give or take, like, a fucking van with Gestapo dudes on the side of it, all rolled up, and they were like, get on the ground. And I was trying to, like, okay, this is happening now. I see what's about to happen. And apparently, my friend Tyler at the time, like Metal T, he started booking it with a bunch of other people. I just had my hands up. I was like, I ain't right. I'm not outrunning this. I'm fucked. So I was just at this point, like, if I'm gonna be gaffled on the ground, I want to be on the grass. So I was just backing up, hands up, still being like, okay. I was about to say, I want to be on the grass, but then they just like got me right on that sidewalk and then ripped my fucking pants and shit. It was just ridiculous. But and got gaffled up, and then I looked over, and then I saw my friend Tyler. He got gaffled too, and I'm like, oh fuck. And that was his first time too. And I was like, I looked at the cops like, dude, my friend over there with the very long hair, this is his first time having this happen to him. I'm chill about this. I'll cooperate enough, but, like, make sure he's with me, like when you're booking us. Like, I want him to be with me because I can calm him down, make him chill. And they did. Yeah, they actually, weirdly enough, kind of respected that. They, because at that point I was like, hey, bro, like they're gonna have us released, by tomorrow. This isn't as big of a deal as you think it is, blah blah blah, yada yada. Like I kind of gave him the rundown. I was like, patting him for the back, like, hey, it's okay, bro. Like, because he was generally kind of freaking the fuck out a little bit. And I was like, no, I gotta kind of calm down a little bit here and be like, hey, dude, like, it's not as bad as you think. I don't want this. I don't like this. This is gonna fucking suck. But dude, you're gonna be okay. Trust me. And he actually got out way sooner than I did. He got out like at 8 in the morning. I had to wait until like 1 in the fucking afternoon. And I got processed in a fucking cell. He didn't. So I got more fucked than he did. It's like, son of a bitch, dude. Like, I had to calm his ass down, make sure that, like, dude, you're gonna be okay. And I still got the boot of it. Like, I had to spread cheeks and everything, dude. Like, it was fucked. Like, and then, bro. Dude, that breakfast that they had, the only good thing was like the fucking like brownie thing that they had, and I saved that until later because I knew eventually I was going to be like called out and get deprocessed or whatever. But unfortunately I forgot it. Like by the time I was like, oh wait, that's my name, wait, what, what's up? And they were like, yeah, you're good to go, come down here, we can process you out. I was like, I just like immediately was like, get me the fuck out of here. Like, how long is this gonna take? Because I get me out, please. Like, fuck this. I mean, it wasn't like as bad as people think it is, but it fucking was awful, dude. It sucked. Like, I wouldn't want to go for it again, but hey, you know what? That's the risk that comes with it sometimes. So, if I have to, if that happens again, don't want it to, but hey, it's kind of the risk that comes with, the whole thing. And frankly, if I am, I'd rather it be Portland Police than fucking ICE or DHS. Who fucking knows, like, what they'd be doing. I do know that, like, apparently if you get really fucking gay with them, they will, like, release you, like, really quickly. So, I don't know. Maybe I should just be like, ooh, daddies. You want these chicks spread for you? A little extra? Or something? I don't know. I've heard, so to speak. I've heard that, like, they're like, God damn it. Get the fuck out of here. Like, they kind of get a little like, what the fuck? So I don't know. Might be something that if it does happen, I'm going to take like the Roddy Rose streamer tactic and just be very fucking gay. And it scares them. Well, I know. It's kind of like what we were talking about from earlier about like the whole like insecure projection shit. They feel the same. By the way, hey, what's up, Rip City? I totally didn't mean to like skip over you, by the way, if he's even in your soul. Talking to Zoran, smoking MC. He played Trump like fiddle again. He got people released from the Ice Gestapo. This game fiddle has. Oh, I know, dude. You know what's funny? Andrew Cuomo literally thought that like Zoran couldn't negotiate with Trump and outplay Trump, and then Zoran is literally doing that. He's literally outdoing Trump and shit. Like, and dude, Trump loves him, bro. Isn't it like interesting that Trump unironically legit loves Zoran? Even though politically they're like the polar opposites, bro. Isn't that a little interesting? Like, there really are legit, like, politically opposites, but yet Trump loves him. It's kind of cute, honestly. It's kind of adorable. He wants to adopt Zoran. He wants to adopt him. He's the son I never had, folks. Zoran is the son I never had. What the fuck? Oh my god. Holy shit, dude. I love it. But yeah, all right, I'm done with this effect. But yeah, there we go. But oh my god. Holy shit. He probably does, though. My beautiful brown son. Oh my god. Holy shit, bro. He probably does, though, honestly. Let's just be real. He probably does. Jesus. Jesus Christ. And this is why we need more Zorons, by the way. We need more people like him. Like, can we clone him? Is there a way to... We gotta have that ability. Like, we gotta have, like, that Kevin Owen Star Wars, like, cloning tech, bro. So then we can just, like, rapid fire a bunch of Zorons. Yeah, they're gonna rapidly age and shit. You know, it's gonna suck. But, you know, rapid fire them, you know what I mean? You don't even need many of them. You just need, like, I don't know, 1,000. In various different levels. You know, politics, you know, local level, state, national. That's what we need, bro. We need to just clone him. You ever listen to Sabotage, the metal band from old days? I actually think so. I not in recent years, but I've heard of them. Clone Tech's learning the fouls. It's been about it for a while. Shocker. Of course they're keeping tech like that, you know, hidden from us. Are those your real hair? Is that your real grammar? The real way you would say that is capital I. Is that your real hair? Question mark. Do you need to go back to English class there, dog? Might need to reflect on that before you start reflecting on if this fucking hair is real, which, by the way, yeah, it is. So, might want to reflect on that. And all about. Oh, yeah. Dude, my friend Tyler loves to sing that song. In the hole of the mountain king. Yeah, I know that song. Yeah, I know it. In the hole of the mountain king. I know it, yeah. He loves singing that for karaoke. Not all the time. I actually haven't heard him sing it in a minute, but it's on. That's on his discography that he likes to sing. And he sings it fucking good, too. Actually, the last karaoke stream I did, he didn't do that song. I think he did a Maiden song. I forgot which song that he did, but, you know, I have him, you know, singing in there a little bit. If you want to hear him. I just don't know, like, if you just look up, like, karaoke stream, you know, with my channel, it should pop up. Sounds like if pure cocaine became a human, it formed a thrash band. No, there. I feel like there's a few bands that can, be described like that. I don't think I won't like quite yet, but thinking I'll probably do like a little baby last cow, a little baby one. Feeling a little peckish, feeling a little foo-foo, feeling that little shrimp dank that I got like kind of whipped up. One of these days I need to like kind of do like, hey, whip it up a struggle meal. Oh, that reminds me. There's this dude that I don't know if you might have seen him. Every so often he will do live streams in the middle of the night too, funny enough, where he'll like cook up like some random food. And I found out that dude is like weirdly near me. Like he's in the area. Not like here in this area, but like he's by the Clackamas River area. Because he was saying that like he fishes over there sometimes. And he has his fishing licenses and stuff like that. From what he was saying, and he'll fish there occasionally. And I was like, when I heard Clackamas River, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, what the fuck? Like, you are like strangely near me. I'm way more west. Like, he's in the Happy Valley area, and I'm not, but I'm just like, I was like, what the fuck? I knew weirdly enough there was something about his streams that just like, you're West Coast for sure, because it's like, the sun rises when it does for me, or it's like in the middle of the night and rainy as fuck when it's rainy as fuck for me in the middle of the night. I was like, you're somewhere around. I did think it to be that close. I was like, what the fuck? Because I think he's always been around that area. And weirdly enough, I probably have unintentionally ran into him once or twice. Because, like, during the spring and summertime, like, me and my friends would like to go over there just to swim and hang out and shit. Because that's like a very, that river, Clackamas River, is an awesome spot to hang out, chill, and swim and do all that shit. And fish, too. So, I mean, I might have actually ran into him once or twice before, not even realizing it. Because I knew, like, I followed him because, like, I would see his shorts, him making, like, random little meals in his car. And then I didn't realize he also did streams, too. And I've just been following him since. And I was just like, now I'm like, damn, I could probably hang out with this guy. I don't want to be, like, weird about it, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, motherfucker. I'm like, oh, shit. It's kind of, I mean, I always find it cool to, like, find a content creator that's, like, in the area and be like, hey, that's dope. Because he's, like, up and coming, doing his thing. I mean, and hey, it's working and shit. He also does music and wants to do traveling stuff, too, as well. And I'm just like, fucking hey, man, I really hope that works out for him. Because, like, I mean, he will play guitar sometimes after he makes up his food and eats it and stuff. Like, he'll be like, all right, playing some music now. He would just start just jamming, just kind of doing his thing. And sometimes, especially if like the raindrops, from on the hood of his car, like there's an ambiance to it. I'm like, dude, this guy's fucking dope. I'm kind of hoping maybe I can like, if he has a Discord or something like that, or maybe makes a Discord community, I could be like, hey, bro, you want to like, not like like do a dual stream in a sense where like whip up some food by the river and just chill, make some music, and just hang out, smoke a doobie or two. But it's always cool, like I said, to kind of find mutual like little content creators like that. Because once I get myself, in a position to where I can at least, generally have like a space, not really like the platform because I already kind of have that, but more of the space to be able to like expand and pontificate that like more further, would like in a lot of ways, be a great opportunity to do these little interesting collabs, at least with local content creators around here, even if they're here temporarily. Like I said for that one guy, I just forgot like what his channel name is because I would totally shout it out if I remember what it was. I just don't remember. I just know that he always likes to wear like this little black chef hat, when he's doing his thing and cooking up stuff in his car and shit. So I just don't remember what his name is, like on his first channel. Like if it's that, it's gonna like eat me up a little bit. I mean, like motherfucker. I mean, it won't be like the last time I'll probably bring him up, I'm sure, but it'll be one of those things. Like it'll probably like come out of nowhere, for me probably be like, oh, that's what it is, but probably not tonight though, unfortunately. Surprisingly, not really that like super late. Though it is, unfortunately, if I was thinking about pool, because I was thinking about that also. I was like, there's a bar right around the corner where I can, play around too, some billiards, but I was like, fuck, they're definitely closed. I was like, shit. Well, that is a little shit out of luck. Damn. You from England? No, definitely not. If they're beans and toast and shit, ugh. Just, oh, no. Where you from? The Pacific Northwest. In Cascadia. In Oregon. In Oregano. From that little humble part of the world. Probably one of the last few places that are actually like fucking fertile and fresh with water and not gonna be completely gigafucked by climate change, but probably will eventually. It'd be one of the last places, but it's still going to. It's like, but one of the last little Edens of the planet, so to speak. At least I like to think it is, because it kind of is, honestly. It kind of is just a little bit. Volcanoes will take us out. Don't remind me. Hey, you know what? Hopefully the eastern, the west to the eastern winds, fuck everything else up first. You know what I'm saying? Like, Hey, best case scenario, dog. Come on now. Best case scenario. That is the thing about the PNW. It's just like we are kind of in a weird Eden, but also a place that will get fucked pretty bad because of the Cascade Mountain Range. A lot of dormant volcanoes. We had a pregame with St. Helens. Luckily, though, geographically and everything, the mountain range is pretty dormant. Mount Hood, Three Sisters, Jefferson, Rainier, none of them, at least as far as we are aware of, as it stands right now, aren't due to pop anytime soon. Now, if Yellowstone or some shit like that were to pop, that could cause a chain reaction that could make them pop. But unless some shit like that happens, and even then, Yellowstone isn't right to pop anytime soon right now. Like, I think we're fine. Like, I think we're gonna be okay. I think it's other shit like wildfires and droughts and shit like that we got to worry about. And even then, like where I live, like especially with the Willamette Valley, like and the Columbia Gorge, like it's such a fertile watershed area that even with like droughts, which would be a major impact, like there's still gonna at least be water reservoirs to be able to kind of at least for a time mitigate that. But that's only for a time though.
by like double the normal time. Yeah, Rainier is technically due, but as it stands right now, as far as I know, it's not active in the sense that it's gonna pop, anytime soon. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, Yellowstone is technically overdue. I mean, but it's not active in the sense that it's gonna like erupt. So I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to gauge it, but at least from our current data, they're fine for now. Fingers crossed. Take a little one more pitch break real quick. Make it like kind of last call. Have another little bowl too, fish and bird, and all that. America has the most natural disasters. It's one of the places that does. I mean, there's definitely different regions of the world that have, some different natural disaster stuff that goes on. Like Iceland's been having a lot of volcanic activity. Like got different typhoons that hit like, Southeast Asia and shit. I mean, it's not just the US and America broadly that like gets a lot of this shit. But we're definitely getting a fuckload of it. More, like consecutive, rates and accelerated rates of like hurricanes, tornadoes, wildfires, droughts. Like, it ain't looking good. Curiously enough, I actually kind of want to like talk to this one streamer that was probably on. I know it was streaming from earlier because I was checking, watching her stuff, Phoebe, because she has some different like ideas and quirky alternative ideas about like trying to solve different things in climate crisis, and I'm kind of curious about like what she has to say about some of it, to be honest. See if she still holds to some of those ideas, and stuff, all that shit. Sure, she probably does, but I'm just like, maybe these ideas aren't probably as crazy, as I thought. But who knows? Little load up on down. Let's see what time it is around now. Cool. It's like a good little bow. Be like right there. Well, I don't know how much of a good bow now I think about it. Kind of an existential bow. But hey. I guess that's just something that must be pondered. Anyway, let's wrap it up now. Give ourselves some food. All that much today. We'll peace out for now. And probably be back around for next time. Maybe not here, but somewhere else. We'll see. But to the buckaroos.